Welcome everybody to the 7th edition of Lawn Care Skull Sessions. I'm Ben from Catch Pro. Joining me is my co-host, the Bearded Lawnsman.
David and all.
How you going, pal?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, thank you. Well, I'm not that good. I feeling a little bit under the weather. I've had my second jab, but we're still here.
Yep.
So, and last week was a good episode. We had some good feedback.
Yep.
GIE was always a fun topic to cover.
Yeah.
So, and there's more info leaking out now about, some of the stuff, you see it slowly leaking out over the week. So that's good to see.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today, pal?
So we're going to do a batteries versus petrol on the hand tools.
And this was inspired by, fair few new battery products coming out at the GIE.
Yeah.
We're probably going to try and focus a little bit more on handhelds for this episode. May touch briefly on some of the battery zero turns, but we'll focus a little bit more. Now, what do you reckon? We just get straight into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, now, I might say first that BJ and I both have dabbled a little bit. We have been using some battery gear here and there. We get to, we're lucky we get to demo a bit of stuff. We do have, at our retirement village, we have been using battery gear for about a year. On my rig, we kind of have like a little bit of we've got some petrol stuff that we still carry around. We've got a fair bit of battery stuff, a couple of different brands. Yeah. So, I mean, the time is now for this stuff.
Yeah. So it seems to be up and coming, and I don't know. I've always been hesitant to jump in just because of the expense, but yeah, there's definitely some value there. I've dabbled, so
yeah. Well, we are going to also talk about the savings. There is an upfront cost, which can be a little scary, and people will put it off as long as they can. But with gear now being upgraded all the time, there's really no better time than now.
Yeah.
Obviously, the state of California has outlawed petrol handhelds. I hope that doesn't happen anywhere here.
No, me too.
Because I still think that there is. I'm a battery lover, but I do think, there's just so many petrol machines still out there in the world that it still makes sense for a lot of guys.
Well, I'm not. There's a few bits of equipment that I love in the battery lineup.
Yep.
And there's some that I probably would love to get a bit more time on.
Yep.
But I've got a limited selection at the moment, so maybe in the future we'll see it grow, and then I can give better feedback. But I know you've got a fair few different.
Yeah, we got a fair few different items, and I really enjoy using the stuff. I still keep some petrol gear on board.
Same.
I have petrol backpack blowers.
Yeah.
The Bushranger and Shindewa, that they're still good units.
Yep.
And we're not ready to turn those over yet. So we have kept them on board. But yeah, I mean, hedges, blowers, chainsaws.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
not 100% sold on battery snippers yet, but I haven't tried a lot of commercial lines. So
yeah. Well, we will talk about those things. Okay, so things to consider. I'll bounce a few things off you, and you just let me know what you think. Okay, so when contractors are looking to invest, whether you're going in small or big, there's a few things that you should consider. There's a little bit to unpack here. So the biggest things to consider when choosing a brand, I think you want to look at brands that have your powerhead, combi, and multi-tool setups. Now, this makes a lot of sense because you can buy one power head. Well, let's say you're a solo operator.
Yeah.
You can buy a power head and accumulate your attachments.
Yeah.
Most of the time when you buy, you can buy this stuff in like a pack anyway.
Yeah.
And if you get by on the bare essentials, pole saw, pole hedger, and what's that one? Pole saw, whippy.
And Swippy.
Yeah.
That's basically what I've had, and that's what I've kind of jumped into a domestic line first of all, and the the power head's awesome. It's a good way to start off, I think.
Yeah. So other things to consider, guys, is interchangeable attachments with petrol gear.
Yeah.
So you've got your Huskies and your Stihls. There's more brands, but and we will touch on all these brands as well individually. But if you are running petrol Stihl gear, for example, and you've got a lot of attachments, why not? If you wanna dip your toes in the market, you can go out and get yourself a battery power head, and you can just plug all your stuff in. And even if you don't invest highly in batteries, you got your petrol stuff to fall back on.
It definitely makes sense if you're not willing to shell out for a power head and all those attachments and batteries, because realistically, when you look at all the pricing, you can spend a lot of money, but like you look at the pricing and it's more the batteries that end up the thing that costs you. So anywhere you can save, especially
there is always going to be a fair bit to consider. We also have to look at your charging system. So not every brand has like a quick charger, and quick chargers are pretty essential. I'm also using the Bushranger domestic line. We'll touch on that a little bit later, but they don't have a quick charging system.
No.
And it means you have to invest higher in batteries.
Yeah.
And you're a little bit more limited.
Yeah.
So runtime and power. Now, a lot of the brands I do believe now are going to be pretty similar spec.
Yeah.
With your runtime and power.
Did you look at a few of them? I saw
the information was difficult, and usually too, like I know, for example, I think my Bushranger multi-tool hedge trimmer, it says like I don't know if it's like 50 or 60 minutes flat trigger runtime.
Yeah.
Well, when you take that out into the field, you're realistically looking at more like 90, maybe even sometimes longer than 90 minutes runtime, because you don't sit there, gun home.
Flat stick, yeah.
I mean, look, there will be cases where you might.
Yeah, well, I can almost get a quarter of a village done with one battery and a hedger.
Yeah, so is that like
That's
2 hours of trimming?
Probably just under, maybe like an hour and 40 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
So, so it's pretty good.
And that's on a 5 amp battery.
Yeah, that's a 5 amp battery.
Yeah. So, look, I do think that the run times are probably going to, across the board, probably going to be pretty similar.
Yeah, I looked at a few, and it's around. It depends too. There's so many variations in batteries as well, from the small to the backpack. Like it's, but around the same sort of hour and a half mark, I think, for the commercial side.
Yeah, so like brand for brand with a 5 amp battery, they're probably going to be across the board.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, from personal experience, you have to look at warranties. Warranties with this stuff, it's not like a petrol unit where you can take it home, unscrew the carby and do all sorts of things, take out the bloody spark arrestor or whatever. All the stuff that we do with these 2-stroke units, it is a different ball game.
Yep.
So you do have to look at your warranties. You have to look at what brands and dealerships are offering. I think it's one of the most important things.
Yeah. Unless you're a Sparky.
Yeah, I mean, I think even with a good warranty, they're still going to fight you on it.
Yeah.
You need to, I mean, I don't know if they just plug it into a system and they're like, yeah, this thing's fucked, or what, I don't know. Something to consider. Now, also, durability and product range.
Yeah.
So, we've got here Milwaukee. We'll touch on Milwaukee a little bit later. But they don't have a deep product range as like an Ego, a Stihl, or a Pelink.
Even Makita.
Is Pelink, is that how we're saying it?
Pelnik?
No, it's not Pelink.
Pellic?
Pelnik is way easier and more natural to say, but I don't think it is. I think it's Pelink.
Pellic?
Look, we're just going to say Pelink, and if we're wrong, you can just text me.
Yeah, fix us up.
Call me a jerk or something.
Whatever.
Send us a link to a video of someone pronouncing it correctly.
There.
In English. Isn't it like German or something?
It's French.
It's French?
Yeah.
Oh, j'adore.
So, yeah.
Okay, where was I?
Yeah.
Durability and product range. That's where we were. So, I think it's pretty important. Like, if you're going to go balls deep,
Yeah.
you want to look at the product range.
100%.
And
make sure
mowers and all sorts of shit.
you have to plan for the future and make sure that everything that you might jump into in the future is also in that lineup of
Yeah,
tools.
because we don't want to crossbreed, do we? No. So, like, what do you...
Yeah,
Tell
I mean-
everyone what we say about crossbreeding.
Yeah, well,
Do you know what I mean?
no, I have
Okay.
no idea.
So, what
You
I...
get mongrels? I don't know.
Usually you can read my mind.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, so what I mean is you don't want to invest in a brand and then later on hop brands. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want to go and get a Milwaukee multi-tool and realize that you're not happy with it, or you know, you might want another product that they don't have, and then have to get a Stihl. None of that stuff makes sense. It makes stuff in the petrol. It makes sense in the petrol market.
Yeah,
Not so much in batteries.
yeah. How many charges would you be running? You'd be running
Yeah, I
like
mean,
4 or
look,
5 charges.
I know personally with Catch Pro, like we have, you know, and I was not a very super handy person. Like my tool accumulation was not huge. You know, I got impact drivers. I ran a lot of Bosch stuff.
Yep.
And they don't have
they don't have
any outdoor power equipment. Then you know, I was using air pneumatic rivet guns, and eventually stepped up to the Milwaukee 12-volt system.
Yep.
You know, so then you got Bosch, and then you got that.
Yep.
And then a while back we bought some Ego pieces.
Yeah.
And
So you're
then
just a slut.
yeah, huge slut. Like if you, me and Rusty, like in
I've
my
seen
shed,
your charging station.
We've got it like all schmicked up, and you know, Rusty would come in and just be like, you know, plug them in, and we'd have like a jig, but you know, battery nutsert tools. It's just a little different because we're not just running
you've got
outdoor power
plenty of
equipment.
different things to do.
So something else to consider, everybody, is weight and ergonomics. Now we'll touch on a couple of personal experiences later on, things that we have found.
Yeah.
And the weight and ergonomics will probably make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, the good thing with the new battery lineups is I think most suppliers, I don't know about Stihl, but I know that most people are offering demos on this battery line.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've been... Yeah, I think that's true.
Like most websites were booked for a demo, so even
Yeah,
Petrol
so
Neck
the difficult thing with demos is, you know, and we demo some gear.
yeah,
You know, most tools feel excellent the very first time you use them.
don't know about that.
Well, look, I know that, like, I've used some shitty tools.
Yeah,
And, you know, hedge trimmer, for example, the blades are like, you know, so sharp and,
yeah,
you know, it's
Yeah,
just
that-
cutting through everything. And then, you know, after you get X amount of hours on it, you're like, nah, this probably wasn't as good as what I thought
Yeah.
it was. And so demos, I think, can be difficult to gauge how good something really is.
yeah. I think you get the functionality, you get the balance, so you get to feel the balance of the machine, which is huge, especially with hedging and things like that. If you've got weight in the back that you don't want and things like that.
Yeah, so I've got some brands to touch on about
Yeah.
that.
Durability is one that you can't get from a couple of hours on a machine. So.
No, so you know, certainly social media groups,
Yeah.
YouTubers. Although, you know, probably got to be careful with some of the YouTubers. You want to probably
Yeah.
look for, you know, people that have been out there using a few different things.
Yeah.
Not necessarily someone who is, you know, plugging something.
Yeah, you got to do due diligence on these.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you really have to look into them because someone might have, you know, dropped it and this is a shit tool and.
Oh, there's so much to
I mean,
consider. Like,
I don't know how durable they are. Like I've bashed my stuff up, dropped batteries a million times and things like that, and they've been fine. So
I mean, look, I've found the domestic gear.
yeah,
So I do want to say that I've been, you know, about a year, probably more than a year ago now, I went to a commercial shoot and Bushranger was filming a commercial.
yeah,
And I did already have some Ego pieces that we had been using, and we hadn't bought our Stihl stuff yet, but it was right around the time where I was negotiating a new 2 or 3 year deal at the village, and part of the pricing structure to get inflated was that we would convert to battery at the village. But I went to a commercial shoot at Bushranger, and I saw like all this battery stuff. And I'm not going to tell everyone to rush out and get it because it is a domestic spec. But I tell you, I was so impressed by it.
Yeah.
For the price.
Well, I think I've been using it for about a year now. Like I got mine about.
And look,
like a couple of months after.
We've had some issues.
Yeah.
Look, the pole hedger, for example, is like what $129 for the attachment. I don't even think you can buy Stihl blades.
No.
For that price.
No.
And we have had pieces break.
Yeah,
But when you're dipping your toes in,
yeah, that's exactly right.
Bad. Now, the story that I was really getting to is that Bushranger are developing a commercial range, and we've been really lucky to be involved in that process.
Yeah.
And the biggest feedback that we were giving these guys is that it needs to look, feel, and operate exactly like a petrol piece of equipment.
Yep.
Because as contractors, we're very used to the way that we make our money.
Yeah.
You want to pick up that machine, and you really don't want to have to get used to a new machine.
Yeah.
So they focused really hard on that weight and ergonomics.
That's I think the weight
performance.
That's one of the biggest draw cards for me because we do a ton of hedging. Like how much I do on Mondays and Tuesdays. I pretty much do all the hedging. It's probably like 2.5, 3 hours a day. Then we jump on the snippers, and then if I'm throwing something that's like a big petrol unit around, I'm going to be cooked by Tuesday. So
So just little behind the scenes catch up. For example, Bushranger had their brand new commercial power head that was going to accept the new the current petrol commercial hedge trimmer attachment, right? Now, if anyone has ever seen this thing, it's built like a fucking brick shit house.
Yeah.
And it is heavy.
Yeah.
And it performs fantastically.
Oh, it's got such a beautiful cut on it.
But when you plug this thing into the battery unit, it wants to throw you forward.
Yeah.
Especially a dude like me.
Yeah. Even me, like it has a bit of a twist on it. Yeah, I do all right, but it's still a big unit.
Yeah, and so I went straight back to him. I said, "Hey guys, look, we probably have to have a look at this because the balance is all out of whack."
And that's the difference. Imagine if you did that to Husky, they'd be like, "Fuck off."
What accent is that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
What are they? Swedish, eh?
Yeah, Swedish.
Okay. I think you did Irish.
Fuck.
But it's all cool. I liked it.
Wait, did you know that Husky started 330 years ago?
I don't know if I believe that.
They started as a rifle company.
Surprised they're not American.
Now,
So I'm surprised they're not American.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, do the Swedes like guns? I don't know.
300 years old, but they have to be European.
It's It
Yeah,
surprised me.
And what's Stihl? Are they German?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the Husky uses German batteries. So I did a bit of weird research. I picked up weird shit. I didn't
mess with none of that.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's safe.
Something different.
I learned something.
I'm glad I could educate you.
Yep, that's cool. Okay, so where are we at?
My bad.
All right, so what we want to do is we're gonna take you through some of the brands.
Yep.
Now let's. You want to start off with Makita?
Yeah, Makita's one that I've actually had hands on.
Yep.
I had someone come in and basically was new to the business. He had some Makita gear and he said, "Look, I really want to learn how to hedge. Can I come and throw a hedger around one of your sites?" And I said, "Come on down." And yeah, it's not bad gear.
Yep.
Beautiful cut. The only thing I didn't like was the dual battery on the pole hedger.
Yeah.
Made it a little bit tail heavy.
And do you have to? Oh gosh. Do you have to use two batteries in the dual system, or can you just run one?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know that...
Probably something we should have found out before we shut the app.
Yeah.
Any of our listeners, feel free to hit us back about that.
Yeah.
Because it's probably something to...
I'm sure, it's got two slots. It's got two slots for the 18-volt batteries, so...
Yeah, but is it like...
Makes it a 36.
Okay, so you probably have to run 2
Yeah.
batteries. Josh,
But,
help.
But the hand hedger
Makita
runs one.
36 volt range. It's a dual battery system. Do you have to run it with 2 batteries, or can you just run one? I'm thinking because it's a 36 volt system, you probably can't.
Yeah.
But while we're chatting away, Josh, you can catch us up. Okay, so product range.
They have like 275 different products. Not all of them garden tools though.
Obviously,
so they have got Jesus.
So they would have everything that,
and they've got different spec in everything as well. So they've got like everything in like a homeowner, then everything in a.
So I love that. I love that. I like a homeowner and a commercial series, but I can't stand it when there's like 3 homeowner and 3 commercial series. So they got 6 product lines.
Yeah, that I don't.
That trips me the hell
like
out.
Blowers, like they'll have like 48 different blowers, and you're like, you know.
I know. I think it gets a little much. You know, I think probably. You know, less is probably not more, but it's okay in this. If you've got something that is a commercial spec, you know, commercial's commercial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you strip it down to have a domestic spec.
Yeah.
You know. So run through the outdoor power equipment. Like, you're going to have everything that you need.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all
So
the
multi snippers, hand hedgers, blowers. They have the works, and then they have, like I said, they have a downgraded one. They got mowers. They've got like a commercial push mower that's a battery mower that's actually like a full aluminium deck and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, they got some cool shit. Like,
so Makita as a brand, for example, where it would probably make the most sense. Now, Jared from LMCA, I believe he runs some Makita
he
stuff.
does, yeah.
He has like all of the battery drills and impact drivers and all that stuff. So he's got chargers and batteries already.
And to be honest, if I didn't, because I've just got Ryobi stuff at home.
Nah, I'm only
No,
guessing.
yeah, it's okay. But I've only got impact drivers and drills, and I think I've got like a grinder.
But if Ryobi had mad outdoor power equipment,
if they had
that
like
would
commercial,
be like something to consider. You'd be like, hell yeah.
And it's a good way. You've paid all this money for these batteries, which is
It gets you halfway there.
yeah, it gets you over halfway because the skins are fuck all really like.
Anyway, it's a shame Ryobi's whack ass. They don't have.
I know.
It's just domestic,
My
right?
dick just got an inch smaller.
I do think some
sad.
guys are running Ryobi.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a hedger you can. Yeah. I don't. I
Maybe.
couldn't see the whippersnipper or anything being used
Not
on any reasonable.
some of the shit that we've done. Like, I do big sites. I don't do like little yards anymore. So I guess like that, you know, everything has its place. But
Yeah.
I don't know about run times and things like that.
Yeah. So
We'll slice Google it. The Makita V twin range requires 2 batteries, so they've got a single battery range and a twin battery range, but it needs 2 batteries
So-
to actually run.
Okay, so they've got an
Mr.
18
Josh
volt.
has confirmed with us that with the Makita, you do need to run dual batteries,
Yes.
which probably makes it pretty tail end heavy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, especially that pole hedger. That's the only the
Well,
hand
do you
hedger was
know-
actually very nice, and it had the
Articulating.
handles. So that was actually really nice.
I'm guessing maybe you probably had 5 amp batteries. 2.5 amps would probably be a little bit lighter.
Yeah, they were. It was dragging. Like,
Okay.
I wasn't used to it. Even using I wasn't using any battery stuff, and this was my first touch on a battery item. And yeah, you know, you'd think a 2-stroke would be a bit tail heavy, but no, this was pretty damn heavy.
Okay.
But I know a
So
lot of
look-
guys use them. Like,
Yeah, I
tons of
mean,
guys,
look,
yeah.
I know Makita as a brand,
Yeah.
they make good stuff. I think where it makes the most sense is if you are already running some of that stuff,
Yeah.
or if you have, because Makita now is in some dealerships. It's not just like a trade tools or
No.
because Makita's not in Bono's, eh? Oh, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But not the outdoor power equipment. I don't believe so.
I don't think
Not at
so.
my local Bono's.
No, not at mine either.
If it was, I probably would have, you know,
They
just
just
out of
have Ryo.
convenience, been like, yeah, chuck it in. All right, so I'm going to go over the Stihl brand. Now, we are using the Stihl stuff, and the Stihl stuff is very popular. Now, I do have a few negative points on this. not to say that anybody that's using Stihl, shouldn't love it or continue using it, or even new people consider buying it. But there is a few things that, I just don't think that they got in touch with anyone who actually uses the equipment before they went and developed this stuff. And I think they really need, going forward, they really need to touch base with someone who operates this shit, and they need to get some of that feedback.
Yeah.
But they've got the 36 volt AP system. Now, they've got a huge product range.
Yeah.
You can get, that is one of the brands where they have like 3 or 4 different domestic lines.
Yeah.
They got kind of something for everyone. You got your price point stuff, and they go all the way up to full heavy duty commercial, bullhorn, all sorts of shit. So the product range is great. Even in that product range, they got short range hedges, dedicated pulse, with the thicker diameters. They got more girth.
There's that word again.
Yeah, it's
It's girth is our word.
So the AP Combi engine is retailing. That's probably what most contractors would get.
Yep.
It's retailing for about $599, which I think is relevant to the petrol unit.
Yep.
I was pretty stunned by the backpack battery range, and I got really lost. And I couldn't get run times, but you've got backpack batteries there that range from like $999 all the way up to $2,600.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming in that range there's a fairly big jump of run times. So look, our experience with the Stihl stuff is that it performs great. My worker DJ, shout out DJ, he always ran Stihl. So he came to work for me, and he kept a lot of his gear from when, whatever he was doing before in his old business. We typically ran Bushranger and Shindewa.
Yeah.
But when we were considering this stuff, I, made a deal with him. I said, hey man, you've already got a lot of this stuff. To be honest, he kind of liked using his stuff on site anyway.
Yeah, I know he liked using his stuff.
So, I said, hey, I've worked out a new deal. I'm going to go get, battery, power head, quick chargers, a couple of batteries. Are you all right to use your attachments? And that made a lot of sense for us. Something that we learnt that we didn't like was this dedicated leash.
Yeah, I've heard.
So the smaller product range and your handheld hedges and blowers, you can insert a battery.
Yeah.
But their commercial line, it's just a leash for everything. Now,
for everything across the
for
board.
everything. And I want to tell you something that is, it's, to me, it's such a big fail. Yeah. If you're wearing the backpack, a lot of the brands, the backpacks, even though they weigh like 9 or 10 kilos, they're really comfortable.
Yeah.
They've got awesome padding. You feel kind of locked in. The leash is not too bad because it just comes from there. the what you get from that runtime kind of outweighs how cumbersome and everything it is.
Yeah.
But the Stihl stuff, for a 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10 amp battery, it's a fucking hip belt.
Oh.
Now, what makes it worse is you buy your power head, $599.
Yep.
You buy whatever range of batteries. They range from like $239 to upwards.
Yep.
Then you have to buy this hip belt, which they sting you $189 for, and it's so not cool. So I don't even wear a belt anymore. Like, I'm at the stage in my life where everything is a drawstring.
Yeah, I don't even have hips. I just go straight down like a square.
So you have to be wearing a belt. And you have to attach this thing. Now, we did jig up like a backpack for him.
Yeah.
But it's just too hard to grab.
Yeah.
Like, it's too hard to grab on the fly.
Yeah.
So, look, that is a huge negative for us, being long-term users of this stuff. Something else that, hasn't been very good is the leash burns out.
And I've seen a few comments on
yeah, so the lead, it's just not durable enough for everyday use. We did get one back on warranty. Now, Nikhil, our mate, I don't know if he listens.
Yeah.
He invested heavily when he first started his business, and he was having huge warranty issues. Yeah. And he got out. He's a pelling dude now.
Yeah.
He got out. He said, "No, well," he said, "Look, I don't mind using the gear, but if it's not going to work, then to fucking hell with it."
So you can't fix that on the go? That if you crack that lead, you can't...
Well, we didn't...
Field patch it?
Well, we didn't mess with it because we knew we were still under a warranty period.
Okay.
And the guys over at Acacia Mower Centre were awesome.
Yeah.
They didn't make us wait very long. They swapped it over. But now we have the same issue again, and we're really out of our warranty period. Look, I've had a look around Australia. I haven't confirmed this, but I do believe they are coming out with a power head that just accepts the battery.
No.
Not the bloody lead.
That'd be good.
We might already be done with it before then, because once the shit stops working,
Yeah.
it's in our contract that we have to use battery gear. So,
Yeah.
look, that's something. It's a pretty big negative. Still, I can imagine they're a type of brand who are like, fuck yeah, we made the maddest shit in the world, and they don't give a fuck about anything else. But there's definitely a few things that they really, if they looked at some of these things from a contract, like a user's point of view, then they could probably have one of the best lineups in the world.
I remember coming to your site and saying, try this out. And instead of because I wasn't wearing a belt, I had to throw the battery on the ground and just rev the
remember
tools.
when we did that garden and we wanted to edge it?
Yeah.
And I didn't have a belt on either.
Yeah.
You were just walking.
I had to carry the
And I was like edge, and it is really powerful stuff.
It's got some.
It is, as powerful or maybe more powerful than the petrol stuff.
Yeah.
Because the Stihl stuff is very torquey.
Yeah.
The petrol stuff. It's got a lot of grunt. And the battery stuff is you can really hack some shit.
No, it's powerful.
But look, that is something that I just...
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and when I talk to other brands, it's something that I always raise with them and say, you can't have that system. It's a huge fail. Now, something else that's a pretty big fail, this is the last one. The safety trigger is man, it's no good. It's so you don't have your normal, what do they call that? Like a dead man switch or something? It's like when you just grab the machine and it's engaged.
Yeah.
This has that, but then it has an extra little one that you need to push forward to engage that one. And it's way too cumbersome. So if you go to do an upright edge like this, you're actually sitting there going it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Trying to move your thumb and compress a trigger and then pull the trigger.
Yep.
Fuck, that's
and
awful.
we were going to just zip tie it or tape it forward, but this safety trigger doubles as a power switch. So you hit it once and you're on one.
Yeah.
You hit it twice, 2, 3 times, you're on full power.
Yeah.
So you can't jig it up.
I don't understand.
Then the power will be just going low, medium, high.
Yeah. How does that get through though? I just don't understand how something like that gets through testing.
Well, I still think it's I mean, look, these guys are a big global.
Yeah.
They're not. And they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
So they can kind of dictate to the market. This is our system. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, this is the way you should do it.
But I'm here to tell you that it's not good. And
I'm glad you made that mistake and not me.
Well, look, we run the stuff.
I get that it's good, it performs well, but
performs really well. Look, I think the lead and the safety switch is
the
probably their
batteries.
biggest downfall. I think with financially now, hindsight's great. You can go back and look at any situation with 20/20 vision and be and you can make that right choice.
Yeah.
I think ultimately we didn't make that right choice. But, look, lots of guys and girls are using this stuff.
A lot of big companies run it too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's because you got fleet options. There's dealerships everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why it is, can be the right decision for
Yeah.
some people. Solo operators that are a little bit reluctant, I just don't think that they'll be happy with it.
Yeah.
What other brands we got, man?
I think one of the most popular brands at the moment in battery gear is Husqvarna.
Yeah.
I personally haven't run it. Have you run it before?
I did a very small demo. It wasn't a very good experience. The equipment was great. I can't say anything bad about the equipment. Just like the demo was just half-assed and set up late, and we just didn't have the weather wasn't very good either. So, but it's another one. They have. I think you're probably right. I think they're probably the leader.
I think maybe Husky. I know that Pelnek is up there. Pelek.
Just do whatever.
Pelek is up there.
Say
I think.
what you want, man.
But when you're looking at which is probably the best, I think like cost wise, I think Husky might beat them out. I think maybe quality wise, they're up the top. They're like a premium brand.
So would Husky be relative or comparable to in pricing to Stihl? Probably.
Yes, but then you have to look at the 20% contractors discount that we all get.
Do you have to ask for that?
I don't know if you have to ask for it. I think most Husky dealers are pretty good in if they want to sell it. I mean, they get the rebate from Husky. It's not like it's coming out of their pocket. So
yeah, I know. It's just like if someone walks into their shop and they don't know about it, it's not like you just be like, "Hey, I'll give you 20% off." If you definitely,
but you have to look.
It's like if they're umming and ahhing, it'd be like, "Hey, you contractor, you got an ABN, right?"
Yeah. Oh, it's an excellent selling point. Like,
it's a great selling point, but then really with that, I don't know this for sure, but from what I believe, even with that 20%, you're still really breaking yourself even relative to other brands.
Still, okay.
Look, I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
I think because we looked at the Husky lineup.
Yeah.
I don't have a Husqvarna dealer near me.
Yeah, neither do I. Oh, we do not really near you, but...
No, that's what I mean. It's probably a good half an hour away.
Yeah, mine's about 15, 20 minutes.
And, 15, 20 minutes. But it was another thing for us as well, where we couldn't shake the fact that we were using the Stihl petrol gear.
Yeah.
And we could really get in for a portion of the price.
Yeah. And I mean, DJ, like, obviously, that's what he's used to. So he obviously came to the party with some goods.
Yep.
And he's going to be the one using it most of the time, so...
Yeah, I don't mess with it.
Yeah. But I think I'd love to have a good demo of Husky, but I don't know how their demos work. Like, obviously, you didn't have, like, a fun one. I'd love to have it... I'd love to have something for even a day.
The rep was ordinary.
Yeah. I don't...
He doesn't listen, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I haven't contacted him. I've got his name and number, but I don't know.
Prepare to be let down.
I don't want to be let down.
Will from Rosebud down in Victoria, he has an excellent rep down there.
Yeah.
And I believe, so if you're in that Victoria region, I don't know how widespread these reps cover.
Yeah.
But I think if you're down in that region... there's an excellent rep down there who does great demos.
Yeah.
Certainly get amongst that. If you're a Husky user currently, you can probably touch base. This is if you're a petrol user.
Yeah.
Touch base with them. Just because I had a bad experience doesn't mean that anyone else
No.
will.
It's
And it's not worth diminishing the brand just because of one bad experience.
Yeah. And like I said, it's probably from all of the feedback we see on all of the groups, and they're probably one of the biggest sellers in Australia of battery.
Yeah, I think
gear.
still beats them.
You reckon Stihl beats them?
Yeah, I believe that is true.
Really?
But I've heard that they just have more brand presence.
Yeah, okay. Well, one thing with Stihl versus Husky as well is I know that Stihl use a plastic gear head or gear casing, and Husky use a steel one. So that was one of the things that I've seen versus those two brands.
Yeah.
That a lot of people were saying that they prefer the durability of the steel.
Oh, of course. I mean, Well, one thing I will say that's just come to mind, if you see a line trimmer at all and the motor is down on the head, just bail.
Yeah.
Because some of the biggest issues now, it's pretty good for weight and balance because you don't have it all up here.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest issues that we have, I'm not sure if this is all around Australia. In fact, I think that'd be worst parts of Australia. But the morning dew, your motor is right there, man.
Yeah, true.
Now this shit is waterproof.
Yeah.
But I've heard that contractors have bad experiences.
Really?
So
have you used one?
Yeah, anything like that is a domestic line, and the trimmer head actually spins the opposite way.
Wow.
And
That's something new.
I believe it was an Ego that we used.
That's a window cracker.
Yeah, look, man, I just couldn't get with it. Rusty persisted, as he would, and it ended up becoming okay to him, but I had to grab the highest spec one that spins the proper way because that's just what. And that's another thing where a contractor, they need to be able to step into something that is very similar to what they're using.
Yeah.
The biggest, I know we're sidebarring, but the reason why we even opted to demo this Ego one is because it's got the mad reload. Have you seen it? Yeah, you put your speed feed head in and you go, and you press the button and it just winds it up.
Yeah,
now that is not a gimmick. That is real shit that's every battery brand, I don't know, they probably got a patent on it.
And is that just on the head with the motor on, like...
It's not on there. Well, I mean, it wasn't on any of the other ones that we had. Okay.
That's cool as shit, though. That's pretty cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they looked at that and they're like, oh, this would be great branding and a cool gimmick for homeowners. But I tell you what, that is the shiznit for contractors, man. Yeah. You know when you're like all hot and sweaty and you got a fly that wants to marry you and just and you're just like...
Yeah, just making love to the corner of your mouth.
It'd be sick as to just put that in and just be like...
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, well, I still use the Tanaka. It's on there just wrapping that cord in.
Yeah.
I don't live that speed feed life.
Well, I'm on the rapid reload life now.
Oh, look at
but I think they might actually call their system the rapid reload too.
Really?
So maybe I'll get sued. I don't know. Or maybe we could do a deal with them and just be like,
maybe,
hey, buy the rapid reload and rapid reload. Okay, so we were still talking about Husky. So tip speed on the hedge trimmers. I've heard it's good.
Yeah,
very
that's
comparable.
Yeah.
Same with the Stihl guys.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, I think the top end commercial lines are all pretty much the same. No, they're
not.
Aren't they?
We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. So, like I said, Ben's had a lot more experience with these sort of machines than I have, but I see a lot of the guys doing topiary with the Husky gear.
So, from what I understand, they have different hedges with different blades that are like, you know how you got your Buxus?
Yeah.
Which are like...
this tiny leaf.
Yeah. And then you've obviously got your lily pillies and all that other shit that have bigger leaves.
Yeah.
So I think there is a little bit of like you can fully customize your setup. Like I know I speak to guys and they're like, oh, I've got this hedger for all like this mad shit over here, and then I've got this one for, you know, me rough stuff.
Yeah, I do the same. So I use our domestic unit from Bushranger on all my maintenance stuff, and then I've got a big petrol 262 multi Bushranger just to fucking destroy everything. So
yeah.
Any reductions and shit like that I want to do, I just chomp through it with that, and then all the finer stuff I can just use.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that domestic line on that.
And that's how I broke the first one.
Yeah. No, it's good to know. Yeah. And do you know anything about their mower lineup, like plastic deck, steel deck, aluminium decks?
No,
I don't know what makes sense. I'm probably a little bit out of the loop with this stuff.
I
know Lenny Lawler, Big L. He has the Bushranger battery mower.
Yeah,
and it does have an alloy deck. But this thing legit looks like a toy.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's fucking hilarious. It looks like a toy. And he's a big dude. But he reckons like he got one so that if he's doing places that have steps, he just fucking folds it up and heaves it over his shoulder. And you can actually do that with this.
Yeah, he's a huge hunk of a handsome man.
So the reason why I've got it is because we don't do much push mowing.
Yeah.
And the boys, my workers will have petrol mowers because they do. But you know, like I'm pretty selective in the stuff.
To be honest, I'm fucking way behind on all this. I got stuck. I got stuck in the.
But you're using the SF bloody whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the Skag. Like that's.
Do you have a bushy as well, petrol?
Yeah. I've got.
So you're pretty well hooked up.
Yeah, but no, I got stuck in this whole only use petrol thing because I know how to maintain it. But then I've been hearing so many people saying, "Oh man, there's no maintenance on it." So I'm like,
yeah.
Fuck.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there with that. Now, we might touch on Ego.
Yeah.
Now the guys at Ego, they've got a pretty impressive lineup. Yeah. I know this doesn't mean that much to everyone, but the stuff looks good. Like I really like for branding and you could go back and look at our episode on starting a mower business. But if you were looking to restructure or start up or whatever, the Ego stuff looks pretty cool.
Do you know whose branding would suit so well?
Don't know.
Martin from Mow and Grow.
Oh yeah, Safidi, yeah, because he's got all of that.
The black and green.
Yeah, so and their new commercial stuff is a little bit more blacked out, I think.
Yeah, it's good looking gear actually.
It is good looking gear, so we'll touch on some of the Ego stuff right now. We did a big demo a couple of years back. We've also, from that demo, we actually bought a few bits and pieces. And we're going to take, now that we're having some issues with the Stihl gear, we might go back and have a look at that.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, those videos, those hedges that you guys were doing with that Ego stuff, fucking blew me away. I know those hedges because I've been to your sites. Mm-hmm. And they were so good, like so tight and just so crisp.
Yeah, if anyone is curious, you can have a look at we probably got like 4 or 5 videos.
Yeah, you did a series. That was your first series.
Yeah, I look back now and it was, some of those videos are pretty rough.
You guys were in singlets and...
Yeah, it was hot as hell.
Yeah, it would have been the middle of summer.
And what some people don't understand is when we did that demo... it was in the middle of summer and me and Rusty, so Josh was filming us. We legit had so much work to do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like Josh wasn't like, oh, hey Ben, can you trim that hedge? It was like, hey Josh, just follow us around with the camera. I'm going to be cutting sick as on these hedges. Rusty's going to be thingy. And then we had the blowers. We blew everything and, it was a really awesome experience. We got to know that gear pretty well, and like I said, we picked up a few pieces. But look, I'll tell you the things that I really liked about it. There are some things that I didn't like about it. Now, some of that stuff might be updated now. I'm not sure, but the guys over at Ego are very. You can contact them. They're very in touch with the contractor, and they're really there to. Build and grow with everyone. So, we've touched on it looks and feels very good. It felt very comparable.
Yeah.
One negative I thought was the hedger tip speed I thought was a little bit low. Now, if you watch the video, you can see that it's performing really well. But as a contractor, sometimes how you can just
like when
tell when same with the whipper stipper when when you've got the cord at the right length, it's like you can hear it.
Yeah.
So, look, I do think that might be something to consider. Once again, this is stuff that you can demo really easily.
Yeah.
They do huge demos. We might even see if we can set up like a mad contractor day.
That'd be sick.
Obviously, it's tough because it might only be a Brisbane thing.
Yeah.
And with us.
And where can we go with a ton of hedges? We're just going.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can come down to the village. I'm sure DJ is going to love that.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just hop over to one of your sites.
Get the whole place hedged in a day.
Yeah. So that was one thing that I felt, but at the end of the day, the hedger, it really did perform. The articulation was really comparable to like the Shindeva. That's what I always used.
Yep.
I think Stihl, and I know Stihl has like the foreskin one.
Yeah. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah. Does Husky have that?
I don't know.
Okay. But anyway, this was really comparable. It's just like a bang.
Okay. So
and for anyone who's not physically watching, my hand is clamping something and moving it.
Yeah.
For everyone who is
just
watching,
a simple setup and
just like the Shindeva.
Yeah. Okay.
So I really liked that. Look, this stuff is priced really well, and it has a deep range. Like you're gonna get everything that you need. They got power brooms,
CTRs.
edge. Well, oh come on, man, I was getting there.
Ah,
So they have a new zero turn. Hasn't hit Australia yet. It is going to hit Australia. If you want to check it out in advance, check out Stanley Dirt Monkey on YouTube. It's had like a gazillion views.
Oh, he put it through some shit.
He bashed it.
Yeah.
One cool thing that I wasn't game enough to do on my Ego demo is he was, looking at how it responded with water, and he's like full dunking it in like these huge buckets, and then he actually just puts a hose in it.
Oh, no way.
And it's like going... So that's something really cool. In Australia, we get mad storms swinging in and out. I personally, don't... If my stuff is waterproof, I still don't like leaving it out in a storm. But every now and again, you do have a slip up.
Yeah.
And, so... by the way, Ego, if you're listening, we still got a pretty clear space on the wall back here.
Just waiting.
So...
Yeah, we'd love to have
some stuff on there.
For sure.
Because you never know, maybe Husqvarna will get there first.
Yeah, maybe. Or Stihl. We have no Stihl up there.
I don't think we get any Stihl stuff.
Not after that review.
You
were honest and you were nice.
I've got to be honest with my audience.
That's it.
Okay, so something else that I think everyone should consider about the Ego stuff is that their batteries are kind of heavy.
Okay.
So it's not a game changer. It's not a game killer. They do have something that I think is very cool. They got a backpack commercial battery, right?
Yeah.
But then they also just have like a pretend backpack that you can bung your batteries in.
Yeah, that's
so you got like, they have a really impressive range. They got 7.5 and 10 amp batteries, which are going to give you
huge.
On a whippersnipper, like maybe 2 or 3 hours on a 10 amp. It might not be as exaggerated as that, but once again, you will have the leash system, but you don't have to carry that mad battery around.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just ducking out and doing a few lawns, you can probably just bung a 2.5 and a 5 amp battery in, and it will be relative to what you're using. But if you're, doing 2+ hours at a site, you can... I know Rusty loved it.
Yeah.
He just had like... so it's just a dummy backpack.
Yep.
And on the end of it, it's actually the shell of a battery. Like it's a dummy battery.
Yeah.
So it just clicks right in.
Nice.
So that system is more durable than like the leash plug on the Stihl, because it's kind of like, your trailers.
Yeah.
So they put a lot of thought into that. They have a pretty big range of mowers.
Yeah.
And they really have something for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think is it contractors up in Noosa? They look like they bought half the fucking shop.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys. That was really impressive setup.
That was cool.
Is it a couple of Sheilas? No.
No, it's in like...
Apologise if it's not.
Yeah, I saw the post. I know which picture you're talking about. They have one of everything.
What do I post? One of everything? Like 3 of everything. Yeah. I posted this. Not from Home Alone.
No one can hear that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Apologies to the people that are just listening. You have to view us, man.
Yeah, what was...
I was doing the emoji of like the...
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Something that's
Oh
cool
my
about...
God, Ronnie.
Oh my God. Ego have some sick deals, rebate deals through different avenues. Like battery rebates and stuff like that.
They're
awesome.
like awesome incentives for... So like if you commit and get amongst it and you get, whatever it is, you get a couple $100 back or you get another big battery.
Yep.
All of that stuff's really cool. We actually capitalised on that too.
Oh, hat. I've got a mad hat.
Yeah, I think at the time, I got a beanie, but beanies look strange on me,
I've
man.
got it.
I got a little head.
Yeah, I've got it at home. Because I'm packing.
When I put a beanie on and take my shirt off, I seriously look like I'm going to rob someone. No, look, we really like that stuff. We are actually about to, I'll just see where we're at, but I think it's inevitable that we have to look for something else.
Yeah.
Now, I'm probably going to, the way that I run my business, just to catch everyone up, is that we basically have our site and we'll have like all this equipment that just lives on that site.
Yep.
And then I have my own rig and I do my own jobs.
Yeah.
And so I run a few different brands. I've got Bushranger and Ego.
Yeah.
Because I'm helping develop that Bushranger commercial line, because I'm so stoked about it, I'm probably gonna end up using that.
I'm excited to see how it performs because I've already got a few batteries, which will be...
Yeah, it's because I'm involved, it's probably going to be the best.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I trust you.
We'll see if we can get like a skull session special edition.
Yeah.
Bushranger Whippy.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, Paul.
Oh my God. Maybe not a Whippy. I don't know about battery whippersnippers still.
Well, so the biggest issue with battery whippersnippers, everybody, is they really suck the juice. So on a 5 amp battery, you've really only got about like a 30-minute runtime.
Yeah.
And it depends. That's like 30-minute flat trigger. So I know with I'm using the Bushranger commercial one. Mm-hmm. Which is not released yet. It's a prototype and it's still in development.
Yep.
It's a very powerful unit. Feels great. The runtime is what would let you down.
Yeah.
But it's the same case across all the.
Well, that's I think that's the only thing that's making me a bit shy about the whippersnippers is the runtime. I'm just we have such large sites. So I probably could carry a backpack, but.
Oh yeah, of course you
could.
I
mean,
no, it's really they feel pretty cool.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. I demoed the Echo line, and that stuff we've talked about this in previous episodes.
Yeah.
Briggs hasn't pushed any of that stuff, and it's because
quiet.
they inherited a lot of old stock from All Power. They really have to get rid of this stock before they invest in the new product lines, right? But the backpack that they had, I believe it has even like a little cooling fan in it.
That's what you need.
Because if you get someone like Rusty with a backpack on, you ain't touching that thing afterwards. It is like as wet as I'm not even going to say it. Yeah. Anyway, so
that's nasty.
But
I'm guessing mine would be the same, but I'm paying for the tool, so I can make it as wet as I want. Oh, that sounded dirty.
Look, say for example, BJ, if you did, let's say, Scrub Road, 2 hours of snipping per day.
Yeah, at least.
You could, at least, you reckon?
I reckon probably 2.5. Okay. I flatten a lot, though. We do a lot more flattening.
Yeah, that's cool. If you had, let's say, the Husky, it doesn't matter, anything with a quick charger.
Yeah.
If you've got power on site.
Yep.
You could get away with like 3 5 amp batteries.
Yeah.
As soon as you run out, bung one on. They only take 30 minutes to charge.
Yeah.
So you're not running through a battery in the time that it takes. So that's what we do at our site. It's funny you see DJ walking backwards and forwards, but he's got a full sus.
Yeah.
He's like, he does the morning blow, cleans the car park, bungs one on, does the flag, does some other shit, then goes out with the hedger, and he gets a lot more life out of the hedger. then when he goes, and he can usually do like a whole zone just on the one battery.
Yeah.
Then when he goes to whippersnip, he has to interchange one.
Okay.
And so it works really well.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into the savings a little bit later, and the savings are going to vary so much. But for us, what would you say when you use your petrol stuff? Let's say you're hedging or snipping, you're probably getting, 45 minutes out of a tank?
Almost an hour, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a little bit different now. The old Shindewa multi-tools, the 230s that we used to use were about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And they got a little bit more efficient.
Yeah. It's, on the T262 that I've got and the 301, it's probably about an hour, I reckon.
Yeah.
Maybe just under, like 55.
Yeah.
But they're getting on a bit in age, so...
So it's really not that, because you're probably... Yeah, I don't know.
But if I'm doing 2.5 hours of snipping, that's... I guess, yeah, I do get what you're saying. Like, that's like 5 battery changes or...
It really just depends so much.
Yeah.
It just depends on, like... So something else to consider, or to at least know, is that it's that flat trigger time, right? But if you're feathering that thing and going on and off, it's sucking more juice. Yeah,
true.
Because with my battery stuff, what I've realised is, because mine, they have like a fuel gauge. You can see how many bars you got left. And you can like hold that thing on and be full cut and sick. And it can be low as anything. And you're thinking like, I'm going to run out. And you just keep going. But then once you let off and try and go again, that's when it's just sucked the life out of it, because it's like the startup.
Yeah, I found that as well.
Yeah, so but yeah, I mean, the Ego stuff, I really enjoyed it. I think it looks good. It's definitely worth looking into.
Yep.
And so many people run that stuff.
Yeah.
Just they got dealerships, they got trade tools.
It's hard for me though, like how do you find them with demos? Because I don't have downtime anymore. I don't have days where I can do a half day and go and do a demo with someone. Like, will they...
Well, ours, I don't know if we're different because we have Catch Pro.
Yeah.
And, like, we weren't just demoing it for our business.
Maybe...
We were really demoing it to try and help build our social media audience.
Yep.
So they essentially dumped off a whole heap of gear, and we kind of had it for a week.
Yeah. Because that's what I reckon that is like the goods. Like
they might do. Look, some brands do that stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know if you have to put a deposit down or commit to a certain amount of gear.
I know that Bushranger are really good with demos. Like I got a snipper for a week. Yeah, they just one of my dealers. I don't know. That'd be. That's through Bushranger, or was that
I'd say that's probably more of a dealer thing.
Okay. Well, he just handed me a snipper and said, "Bring it back in a week." So.
Yep. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it's definitely something you want to do. If you're not 100% sure, get a demo.
Yeah, do your research.
Yeah, definitely.
What other brands we got?
We got the Pelneck. I didn't find a lot of info. Not just on the page. I know there's a couple of guys that use it on LMCA.
Conrad.
Yeah, Conrad uses it. He loves it.
And he's got that slick ass trailer fit out coming.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, it's a van.
Yeah, it's a van. But he's got like the rise on it. He loves the mower.
But now this is like expensive shit, right?
Yeah, it's up there.
I mean, think Jim Penman might have done a video on it.
Really? So I think it's like just such high quality that they can have such a decent... And I know that they do good demos. I know there's a fair few guys that... And they have like demo days where guys will run in and do it. I haven't seen anyone running it here in Brisbane.
Yeah, I haven't either. I think what probably lets them down is their dealer presence.
Yeah.
You can't just walk into a local dealer.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there will be places, but I know I can't walk in to any of my local dealers and get my hands on this stuff.
Never.
I believe I've chatted to them once, but like you said, it's difficult to do demos sometimes when you're just so busy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, now that I'm growing, it's like time is money, and I'd love someone to come and say, here's here's a bunch of gear, run it for a week, sign this, run it for a week.
I mean, you don't want to lead anyone astray as well. Like they're really expecting you to be a
for
customer.
sure. But if you're upfront and honest and saying, I'm trying a couple of brands, you know.
Yeah.
Because if I go battery, I'm gonna go full battery, with snippers, hedges. Well, pretty much the way I thought I was going to do it was I had this grand plan that I was going to jump into the Husky stuff because there was such good reviews. I was like, oh, okay. But then I sort of looked at the upfront costs. I was like, shit, like we use a lot of gear. I need a lot of batteries.
Whereas you can just really go and get you can sort of go to a Bushranger or Ego dealer and you can just grab a blower and a chainsaw.
Yeah,
and
that's what I
things.
did. With the Bushranger line, I've got the chainsaw. The multi-tool has been amazing.
How awesome is the chainsaw?
The pole saw. The chainsaw blew me away because it's like
I cut huge.
Yeah,
trees
you
down.
cut fucking bamboo up the
30-foot bamboo
crazy.
or something crazy, and it's still the same chain.
Yeah,
they've done a pretty damn good job. I think it's a pro cut chain. I don't know.
I did 15 trailer loads of just tree pruning
when I was doing that bamboo, because I was just cutting it and the shit splinters, and then pinches, and I was the whole time I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna wreck this thing, and when I was I was thinking I'm gonna wreck this thing, alright, and then I was thinking I think I only paid $129 for my attachment. You know, sometimes chains cost you $40.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I fuck this thing, I'm just gonna go get a whole new attachment.
Yeah, well,
the job that I was doing was worth that much.
That's what I did when I busted because I busted a head on the hedger attachment because I was just running it through some thick shit, and I was just like, I'm not going back to the rig. I'm getting through this, and I'm smashing through it, and
throw it in the gutter and go and buy another.
That's it. And I could it's very inexpensive.
All right, so we'll touch on the Bushranger stuff a little bit. Now, this is a domestic spec.
Yep.
So we're not telling everyone to run out and get it, okay? The blower, the hand blower, I have found to be fantastic.
Yep.
Really cool, light, ergonomic design. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, good power.
Good power. The turbo especially.
Yeah, it's got a turbo button on it that it blew me away.
What? You want to blow me? So I'm running mostly the 5 amp batteries now.
Yeah.
I don't know this for sure, but they could be the lightest 5 amp batteries. They're they're really light.
Yeah. Okay.
Really small, compact, light. So that's something that is pretty cool. Now, we're really touching on Bushranger because there is going to be a commercial lineup that is going to accept the same batteries.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's the only real reason why we're touching on it. We don't really want you to go out and get this domestic stuff. The pole saw with the multi-tool is something that I'm not even going to bother getting the commercial one.
No.
I'm going to get a commercial power head.
Yep.
But I'm not going to get a pole
The
saw
pole
attachment
saw was
because
so
I'm really
handy.
happy with. I mean, I've already got the domestic multi-tool. I might as well keep some of the pieces.
I was talking to Stagger Lee because he asked me about it.
Yep.
And I found
Stagsy?
I found it's the perfect length for pruning trees because it's not your fucking huge pole saw. It's just.
Well, you can still put them in your equipment defender racks, which you can buy on the Catch Pro website.
There you go. But no, it's a very, very good length for just pruning trees back. And you get multiple cuts out of one battery. You can cut all day.
Yeah.
So the hedge. When I looked at the battery stuff, the hedges and the pole saw and the chainsaws have just blown me away.
But when you get to the blower and the snippies, they really chew it.
Yeah, they do. They chew the batteries.
So something that I want to grease everybody up for is with their commercial line that will be coming out. Look, it could even be out this year. I know we're getting close, but if not early next year. So it'll still be available this summer.
Yeah.
All of their attachments for their commercial lineup are going to be interchangeable with their petrol units.
Yeah, that's a...
So that was, I think, something that Shindewa and Echo fucked up on.
Yeah.
They changed all the splines. Whereas, and that is kind of like the same with your Stihl and Husky, where it makes a lot of sense, especially if you don't want to go hard out.
Yeah.
You can buy a Bushranger commercial power head, like a petrol one, and then you can go down and get the new battery one, and you can bung in all those attachments.
Yeah.
And so even if you haven't invested super heavily in the batteries, you can run that stuff for a couple of hours in a day. If you run out, you can go back to your petrol stuff.
Yeah.
And if you are running an Equipment Defender 4 rack, then you can actually run that. That's how I do it.
Where can you get those from?
Catch Pro.
Oh, fair enough.
Some really cute guy sells them.
Is that Josh?
Yeah, Josh from Catch Pro. Something else that's pretty cool is they've got like Bushranger have a Shindewa conversion kit, which is a little bit sneaky. Little bit sneaky, but I like it, man.
Yeah.
So,
Look,
what it actually means...
Let's be honest, Shindewa and fucking Echo are dropping the ball when it comes to getting on the battery wagon. So...
Look, I believe so. I think any of these brands, when you look at guys like Ego... certainly Stihl Husky.
Yeah, and trust me when I say, like, I love Shindewa. That's where I started. I've still got plenty of Shindewa gear, but it's just they're kind of falling behind.
Yep. I mean, I don't use any of it. I'm using all Bushranger stuff now, and that's mostly due to dealerships.
Yeah, I've got mostly Bushranger, but I still have. Like, I've still got an old EB 803 at home.
Well, I still do, yeah. And we're not going to... I mean, geez, mine's probably 10 years old.
Mine's probably about 6 years old.
She doesn't blow as hard as she used to, but she still bloody gives me a bit of joy.
She's comfortable. Mine's still comfortable. I've got new straps.
Mine, yeah, I guess it's comfortable.
Yeah, and I enjoy the T262, but...
See, I stopped using all of that stuff because because I'm running battery and petrol multi-tools, you can only take so much shit to work.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so,
starting to find that my whole tray is full now as well as my racks.
So that's why, as a contractor that's looking to get into the battery market, if you really try and look at a brand that is doing the power heads, then you can essentially take twice the amount of gear out with only really having 50% of the shit.
Yeah.
So, the new Bushranger articulating hedge trimmer attachment, it's really going to be something else, guys. So the normal Mariama commercial attachment, the one that BJ heaves around, still a great unit, and that one will stay on the market.
No doubt.
Well, I believe it will. I don't know.
Heavy duty, like...
It's got, there's no give in that bar to it. It's just like... Whoosh.
Yeah, it's got an immaculate cut, but it's a heavy...
Yeah, I actually realistically, I can't use it.
Yeah.
I'm not strong enough with because when you got something out in front of you, I don't know what with the leverage and what the rule is, but, I'll end up in hospital if I do that.
Yeah, I can feel my bum muscles tensing when I'm leaning over a hedge pretty far.
I bet you could still put something in there.
Ooh.
Not me.
Cheeky.
I ain't going
to. I'm sure you aren't.
So anyway, look, this conversion kit, if anyone wants to know more about it, go down and see your Bushranger dealer. Probably don't mention it to a Shindewa dealer.
Yeah.
Just saying. But essentially, it's actually going to allow you to buy a Bushranger commercial powerhead and run your Shindewa attachments. Which is pretty cool. If you've been running a lot of Shindewa... Like, I know for me, we ran it for 10 years.
Yeah, you'd have some shit in your shed. That's
not really. I just been, just fucking off all the shit that I don't use. But, I mean, at one point, I could have easily filled this room with different attachments and power heads. And if there's anyone else out there that is like that, and you're looking to utilize some of those attachments on a battery unit, because you won't be able to go and get they don't even have their own conversion kit. This is something really cool. Okay, do you have any more brands?
No, that's it. They're the ones you gave me.
Well, we do have the Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That
was popular for like a really short period of time. Like,
yeah, we'll touch on it briefly. So I think the Milwaukee range is pretty big in America.
Yep.
You have some good YouTubers, some credible YouTubers that are using that stuff.
Yeah.
And I touched base with some of them, and they seem to really like it. The Americans are not. The ones that I've spoken to, they're more about like, no man, we need our gas.
Yeah. I love their petrol stuff.
Yeah. So I haven't personally used it. I have put my hands on it in a shop, just down at Trade Tools, looking it out. It does look pretty good. It feels pretty good. It's priced well.
Yeah.
It's another one like Makita, where I think if you're running, like if you have a lot of their batteries, and I know a lot of guys use their impact drive.
Yeah.
The battery rattle
Yeah,
guns
the
for
little ones.
rattling your blades out and stuff. I think if you've already invested in some of that stuff, then Milwaukee makes sense. The biggest letdown is probably their product range.
Yeah.
You're just not going to get everything. You'll get your basic stuff that you need.
Yeah.
So
is that commercial stuff?
I think it is a commercial spec.
Okay.
But I mean, regardless of whether it's a commercial spec, it does have a pretty good warranty.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
But all of Milwaukee stuff is pretty good quality.
Yeah.
It is built well.
Well, I mean, they're handhelds, like they're impact drives and stuff.
I had a little bit of a bad experience with my battery riveter.
Okay.
And I didn't think it was the greatest tool. I wasn't treated very well by Trade Tools either, but eventually we got through it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I had a lemon or whatever the case was, but man, I've been punching rivets like you wouldn't believe. Thousands of rivets.
Yeah.
And having a much better experience now.
Oh, that's good.
So, I know Greg Anderson
he was
and a
running
few
it for a while.
guys were running. I have heard, I think it's another one where the tip speed might not be quite there. The power, the tip speed, I do think more is better.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It was one thing when we had the very first prototype for the Bushranger. You actually had the power there, like the spec was there.
Yeah.
But the tip speed, like I ran it and I just said to him, I said, hey guys, if we really want to bring out the best, some of the best gear,
Yeah.
we need to get that tip speed up.
Yeah.
And they've done that, and so that's going to be really excellent. I don't think it's if something doesn't have that super high tip speed, I don't think it means that you shouldn't consider it.
Okay.
Because it does still perform.
Yeah.
And you can just go back and watch our Ego demo to
Yeah,
really know
definitely.
that. And so it's just something to note.
Yeah.
I don't want the audience out there to be like, hey, Ben told me this was the shiz and now look at this.
The blame game.
So, okay, that's pretty much the brands we're going to cover. So just to recap, we've got Stihl,
Makita,
Husky,
Pelnac,
Ego, Bushranger, and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Now, there is others. I've heard people have had pretty good experiences with AEG. That's like another... So I think Milwaukee, AEG, and Ryobi are all built by the same company, just different spec. The AEG stuff, I'd love to get my hands on that.
Yeah.
Just because it's a Bunno's product. The only thing is they don't... Look, not in my Bunnings. I believe all Bunnings are different. They don't have the full mad commercial style.
No.
I do believe that if they had that down there, I would have messed with some of it already.
Okay. And there's always a rep, there's always AEG reps floating around Bunnings.
Yeah, so every time I go there, and I did speak to him, and he wasn't necessarily thrilled about but if you're a serious paying customer, they will definitely hook you up.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But I would like to see more of their commercial stuff in Bunnings.
Yeah.
Because Trade Tools and stuff like that, is it that it's trade that must be the only other place you can
Trade
get.
Tools.
Yeah. But I've spoken to people who really enjoy using like the
cool.
AEG snippers and stuff like that.
There's actually a fair few converters now you can get. So you can use like you can buy them online like eBay and stuff, and you can use Chinese batteries and stuff for like the Milwaukee gear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty cool to know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know how long we're running. This has been pretty lengthy.
It's been about an hour and 10, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get ready to put a bow on it, but before we do, now we'll just quickly touch on the savings. Now, the savings are going to change. It's going to be case dependent, right?
Yeah.
And mostly it'll just be your 2-stroke stuff. Unless, you're running a lot of 4-stroke stuff that you change over to batteries. But things to consider, right? And this is where we've had the biggest win. The downtime and the servicing with plugs, filters, carbies, oil, etc.
Yeah.
You just... Like,
it's just nothing.
I'm almost embarrassed now. Like, sometimes we might have an issue with some of our 2-stroke stuff, and it was every day. New machines, doesn't matter what it is, you got guys using them. Every day I felt like I had something on the bench.
Yeah.
And me and Rusty, it'd be like, 6 o'clock at night, and we're still tinkering around with shit. And I used to go down and spend so much money. You get your 2-stroke. You buy, if you have 5, you can get 5 plugs.
Yeah.
Go get your filters and everything like that. This has been something that has been like priceless for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to mess with any of that stuff anymore.
Just finish your day, pack it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
And it has really saved me so much time.
Yeah. Time is money.
Not to mention, I used to, God only thinks what my neighbours used to think of me, because you would bench test something, and when you bench test something, it's different to when you take it out and you go and, and like I had like little trees at my place, and you can see I got like little slices in them because I'd be messing around with one of the chainsaws, and then you just see how it's operating, and then same with the whippersnipping, and some people be like, he just mowed his lawn yesterday and now he's edging it again, but it's because I needed to test one of the machines. But we haven't done this, but guys have inverters and solar and all of that stuff. When you invest that heavily, the savings are tremendous.
Yeah.
Not to mention, who is it like?
Anthony Hahn has a coffee machine because he's got
like
all that good
so
shit
many
back.
awesome things. So there's a lot of, I think outdoor battery.
And it's not
outdoor battery stuff is heading in a really cool direction.
And it's like I'm kind of getting over mixing fuel and having to carry 2-stroke around and having an extra fuel container for my 2-stroke. Like, I don't think that they've made me super impressed with the ZTR lineups yet. I think they're heading in the right direction. I think
it'll still be a couple of years.
But
I think they're there with the handhelds.
Yeah, but I think handhelds.
I think there is something out there for anyone.
Yeah.
So I think with your inverter systems and all of that stuff, when you become committed, you can really look. I think I've probably been running battery stuff for maybe 18 months, and I know really the only 2-stroke machine that I really run now is my Bushranger backpack blower,
okay.
And I do still have a petrol power head that I'll use as a whippy when I'm doing larger acreages. But that's probably about it. And I'm not a real contractor, but these days. But I reckon I've only used like 20 or 30 litres of 2-stroke fuel in the last 18 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And at the village, The only petrol item that gets run is the 32V ride.
No way. That's good though.
So we've completely eliminated... Because I used to put like a 5-litre barrel out there, and then, you know, DJ was always, you know, the amount of hedging out there.
Yeah.
You're going through like a few litres a day.
Yeah, I still do like 30 litres a week on 2-stroke, really.
Mm-hmm. And so these days, that's probably costing you, what, $50?
Yeah. Minimum.
So you have an immediate $50 saving. Now,
Yeah.
something that I reckon used to happen to me on really hot days is because I would always, you know, fill up my tanks, you know, roughly every 45 minutes. This is when I was going hard out. I actually reckon I used to get like fuel contamination.
You reckon?
Yeah, you get it on your hands a little bit. You have a durry and whatever the case is. And
have your
obviously
lunch.
there's some,
Nim.
yeah, I mean, obviously there's some safety stuff there, but man, when you're going hard, you're going hard. So I think there is a health factor. Also vibrations and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's cut down.
A lot of this stuff is a lot smoother, you know, on your elbows and shoulders and stuff like that. So definitely something to look into. There'll always be people who are like, hell no, not yet. That's cool. We're not tripping.
No. Like I said, I'll probably still hold off on the snipper until I'm ready to rock and roll and I've found a demo, someone that'll give me a good demo and I can actually get a feel for a commercial snipper. And
for sure.
Then we'll see what happens.
Yep. All right, well, I think it's time to put a bow on this one.
Yeah.
Hope everyone enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a comment or a review, please, on your favorite podcast platform.
Yep.
Leave us a review so that we know what we're doing is cool.
Yep. Follow us on our socials.
Definitely reach out to us if there's a certain topic or a question that you want answered.
We will be running a poll soon. I'm sure we'll probably do something pretty. I don't know. I want to do something funny.
Yeah. Actually, you know something that might be really cool? On this week's episode, once you hear it, send us photos and tag either the Bearded Lawnsman or Catch Pro with your battery setups.
Yeah,
that'd be really
awesome.
cool.
That'd be so cool.
So and then
inverter setups, like I don't get to see them very often. So.
Yeah. So that'd be really cool. What's that?
Did you want to do anything with that, or was that for later?
Oh,
is that the sprayer? No, we'll do something separate.
Do separate?
Oh,
yeah. So you'll have to edit this.
Yeah, I'll cut this bit out.
Nah, don't cut it out. It's all good.
You can stay in.
Well, I mean, do you want to chuck it in on the table now or not?
What's up to you? You want to talk about it? And go...
Oh, we'll do a separate gig for that.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. To be continued.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today, and goodbye.
We love you.
Do we want to send it off a little bit differently to that?
No, it's fine. It can just be an awkward ending.
Okay.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
Shh.